Hello, dear learners. I heartily welcome you all in the eighth lecture of this series on renewable energy sources. In the last lecture, we understood properties of storage material and the most important application of solar thermal, in which we will understood construction and working of solar water heater. Today, we will discuss about the types of solar concentrating collectors. Any device that able to collect solar radiation to convert them into other form of energy, basically thermal energy or electrical energy, is called receiver or collector. This can be done through two ways. First, heat absorb that absorbs solar thermal radiation. The thermal radiation is absorbed to heat a medium, that may be liquid or solid one or gaseous one, which transfer that absorbed energy to a generator, or light causes photovoltaic effect in the material of solar cell, which generates electric current. In both of these situations, the amount of energy available for the conversion is only as much as the solar source supplies per unit area of the converter. If we need large amount of solar energy for practical purpose, we have two options. The first option is to increase the installation of number of systems. In other words, we have to increase the plant area that may require additional land, which could involve additional cost for construction, service, maintenance and more materials. It has been done up to certain extent, but it is not a practical way to meet the current energy demands. The, the second option is to concentrate the radiation flux. This can be achieved by placing a concentrator, usually some kind of optical device, between the light sun and the receiver. By common terminology, a solar collector is a sunlight processing system that includes a concentrator and a receiver in its setup. It is also characterized by aperture, the cross-sectional area through which sunlight accesses the system. I again repeat, aperture means the cross-sectional area through which sunlight accesses the system. Solar collector transform short wavelength into long wavelength and trap this energy in the form of heat, which is transferred to heat storage devices. We have already studied the properties and types of heat storage devices. There are different types of solar collectors. We will discuss each one. There are mainly two types of collectors, that is the flat plate collectors and focusing collectors. In flat plate collector, which are further divided in three types, we will learn one by one. The first one is the simple flat plate collectors. It is simple in design, it requires low maintenance and it is stationary in nature. These collectors are used for solar application which require the temperature value from 40 degree to 100 degree Celsius. The best example of simple flat plate collectors is solar water heater or solar air heater. Flat plate collector is shown in figure. It consists of an absorber plate. Which is indicated by a black one. Incident which absorb incident solar radiation on it through transparent glass plates. That cover indicate the transparent glass covers absorb solar radiations, then transfer to liquid flowing through the tubes. That indicates the tubes which are connected to the absorber plate. Generally, water is used as a liquid. The complete unit is fixed in inclined position so that it will facing toward solar radiation. In solar water heater, water is circulating through the tubes. In solar air heater, air is circulating through the tubes. This type of connector is used for solar water heater and solar air heater applications. Next we will discuss the second one, that is flat plate connectors with plain reflectors. By using plain reflectors, that is mirror, at the edge of previous arrangement, we can increase the temperature by 20 to 30 degree Celsius more. Flat plate connectors with adjustable reflectors, that is mirrors, attached to the edges as shown in figure. That are at the edges we will find out a flat plate mirrors, and that indicates the solar radiation is normally incident on an absorber, and this is again a mirror or flat plate reflector at the other edge, and again at this one an incident solar radiation. So ultimately all these radiation are collected at a particular place or particular point of flat plate absorber. The neighboring radiation can be reflected. This is a neighboring radiation. If let us assume that there is no reflector at the edge, then this radiation will go out, will pass straightly, and it will not be absorbed. Due to this such an arrangement, that is plain reflectors at the edge, this neighboring radiation are also collected. With this arrangement, temperature increased by 20 degree to 30 degrees Celsius than those obtained with plain collectors alone. This type of collector may be used in solar water heater. Next, we will discuss the third one, that is compound parabolic collector. This is also similar to the first one. The neighboring radiations can be reflected toward absorber plate with the help of curved segment reflector, which are the part of two parabola. In the previous one we have used the straight reflector, whereas in this particular compound parabolic reflector we have used the shape of parabola instead of straight one. Both these parabola curve are attached at the end of the edges of absorber. The advantage of such collector is that it has high acceptance angle. It requires only occasional tracking. What is solar tracking? Solar tracking is a technology for orienting solar collector, reflector or photovoltaic panel toward the sun. So it requires occasional tracking. So tracking we have already defined, that is it is a technology for orienting a solar collector, reflector or photovoltaic panel toward the sun. As the sun moves across the sky, a tracking device makes sure that the solar collector automatically follows and maintains the optimum angle to receive the most of solar radiation. That's why we require the tracking. Some solar collectors hugely benefit from tracking while some others do not. So the tracking system can be added with the additional cost and certain trades-off in system design only when it pays off. Besides this, there is no significant commercial development takes place in this type of collector. Last point is much more important. No significant commercial development takes place in using such type of parabolic collector. The second point is the cylindrical parabolic collector. Now up till now we have used the flat plate collector. Now we will discuss the focusing or concentrating collector. This type of collector is used where temperature required is high, from 100 degrees Celsius to 400 degrees Celsius. While in A types, that is flat plate collector or flat plate collector with reflectors and compound parabolic collectors, all this is used where temperature ranges from 40 degree to 100 degrees Celsius. Now we will discuss cylindrical parabolic collectors. In this type of collector, shape is cylindrical parabola. Therefore, it is called as the cylindrical parabolic collector. Thin electro-polished aluminum sheet is used for reflecting surface. Reflectors in such a shape used are thin aluminum sheet or mirrors. With such arrangement, solar radiation are focused at the focal axis of cylindrical parabola through which the liquid is flowing. All these radiation are concentrated at the axis. This is the pipe where called the axis. This one through which the liquid is flowing. The absorber tube is made from mild steel or copper of diameter 2 to 5 centimeter. The absorber tube is coated with black paint to absorb maximum amount of energy. Sun rays should be focused on the absorber tube so the unit should rotate in a proper direction. This movement is known as tracking. We have already discussed what is meant by tracking. If the required value of temperature is still higher, then it becomes necessary to have point focusing rather than the line focusing. If we require the higher temperature, then instead of using this line focusing, we will use a point focusing. In the next one, we will discuss what is meant by point focusing. Second point is paraboloid with dish collector. In order to achieve higher temperature for collectors, it becomes important to have a point focusing. With the help of paraboloid dish, all the incident radiation are focused at the focal point of parabola. This type of collector system is utilized for electrical power generation. From the design point of view, there are limitations to the size of the paraboloid dish. This type of collector system have been developed for electric power generation. With the help of this one, all the energy are focused at a particular point on the paraboloid, and at that point the temperature is quite high. The last one is the Fresnel lens concentrating collector. Concentrating of radiation can be increased by using lens system. The lens is usually made from the acrylic sheet. The sheet is flat on one side and fine longitudinal grooves are made on the other side. The incident radiation are then focused at one particular point, which is the focal length of this sheet. So in that way we can use the different types of solar concentrating collector for collecting solar radiation, which depending upon the temperature value of material or liquid through which we are using, different types of collector are used. Thank you very much.